Hello and welcome back to Let's Talk More on Monday. On today's episode, I am joined by Kaylee and Kat, who worked with me on the article for the Rise of Rosie, which is going to be featured in our Women in Love issue 7 More series. So they're joining me today to talk about our process with the photo shoot and how it aligned with the article and how it all came together to get published in issue 7. So I will go ahead and turn it over to Kaylee if you'd like to introduce yourself.
So my name is Kaylee Williamson, and I'm a local artist and wardrobe stylist. And for this shoot, I did the photos.
And I'm Kat. I'm a local photographer and graphic designer. And I was supposed to be assistant, but then I ended up modeling as well.
Yeah, which actually turned out really wonderful. So glad that happened. It was a happy accident. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the article that will be published in issue 7, Women in Love. I agreed with Ariana that I would write again for this issue. I've written for a couple others before, but my articles tend to be more on the facts and figures side of things, whereas other people, when they join more, tend to tell personal stories. And that's one of the great things about the magazine is people have a chance to really just talk about their lives, themselves, their personal experiences. But then I usually come in and fill in more of a factual side of things. So for this one, I decided to take a historical look at the idea of women in love. And I wrote a little bit about how women joined the workforce during World War II because a lot of men were away at war and things needed to get made. Material still needed to be going out. So a lot of them went to work either in factories or in the army itself. And I break down some of what that was like and how women were inspired by the love for their families, by love of their community to join it and make it better, and in that way sustain their families. And I talk a little bit about queer history as well, because there is a lot of really wonderful stories of queer people being able to take over and control some of these spaces that were created during the war for production to happen, for planes to be flown. And they found a lot of love and community in those ways, even in a time of distress and national conflict. They came together just like women did to join the workforce. And I break that down a little bit and I talk about the history of Rosie the Riveter, how she came about and how she inspired other women to be more independent, to be strong, to put on the overalls and work on a plane. It became something that anybody could do. So, yeah, I talk about American history and how women's love inspired these things moving forward. And then Kaylee and Kat became a part of our process. And once an article is written, it goes over to another team and it becomes more of a curation where they look at the story and the editors look at things all together and they decide how it's going to come together to be both an article and a visual story. So I would love to turn it over to Kaylee and Kat and have you guys talk a little bit about how you decided what you wanted to happen for this photo shoot.
Okay. So when I read the article, there were two different ideas that I had for the shoot. One of them being what we did, which was showing women through different eras in the workforce and how many different roles that they can be or what they became. And then the other one was having more of, like, I guess, showing them
So we were talking about how, just trying to just like kind of show women in the workforce and like different roles they would be portraying,
Yeah.
essentially kind of through the decades. Because when Chloe and I were modeling, we kind of flip-flop back and forth what decades we were working through. So yeah, just kind of demonstrating like, once women were in the workforce, they didn't stop being in the workforce once the men came back home type of thing.
Yeah.
So we kind of continued and grew from there and entered different industries and stuff like that.
Yeah.